All right, everybody, I'd like to say welcome, welcome, welcome. And for most of all, I'd say thank you so much for your support. But I also got to give a lot of credit to the people who help support these videos, such as the Covenant of Faith with Pastor Luther and the congregation over there at the Covenant of Faith, and also the Jack Yates Men of Valor. They the one help contribute the money for me to keep coming out here and doing these specials. Now, we did the specials on all the communities in the city of Houston, all the inner cities, and all of the suburban areas in Houston. Now it's time for us to do the freeways. And I am so excited to be part of this, because the first freeway in the state of Texas was right here in 3rd Ward, y'all. Right here on the corner of Jefferson and Dowley. Then they changed the street to Emancipation. But when this was built in 1952, Van London built this freeway here in 1952, and it was supposed to go from Houston to Galveston. But when he first built it in 1952, we didn't call it a freeway. We called it a superhighway. The reason why it was a superhighway, because before freeways we had highways, and this was a superhighway. The difference between a superhighway and the regular highway is that a superhighway takes you straight on through. The regular highways, you got to stop in these little bitty towns like Lamar and Dickerson. But when they designed this, Mr. London go all the way on out towards Galveston, and it went all the way on up to, I would say, to Dickerson. And then they went a little bit further out. See, because they had to make a big overpass for all the big ships that's coming through Galveston. They had to make a big overpass, because before then they had a drawbridge. And for some of you young people don't know about a drawbridge, that means the bridge split in half. It goes up. And the reason why it goes up, because the ships got to go through. But when they built the big overpass that you see now, that goes from Houston, what you might say I-45, and where I-45 turned into Broadway. And Broadway is the street in Galveston. Come up with the superhighway here in 1952. You had 3 lanes. But we're going to take you straight into Galveston. Like I say, it stopped in phase 1 right there at Gulf Gate. The reason why they stopped there, because they had to build 225. But after they got through building 225, which connected into Pasadena, Deer Park, and LaPorte, then they finished it on out, going out towards Galveston, all the way through Lamar and Dickerson and Texas City. And then when you cross that big old bridge, that's what took them a long time to get over that, to build up a bridge that would be high enough to be able to let the ships go through. Because before then, you had to take Old Galveston Road, and Old Galveston Road would have a drawbridge. And for some of you young people that don't know about a drawbridge, that means the bridge split and goes up on both sides, right and left, so the ships can come straight through. But when they built that freeway, they wanted to make sure it didn't have a drawbridge, so they had to bring it up higher. That's the reason why when they got ready to build 610 later, that's why they didn't have no problem with the Ship Channel Bridge, because it's the same amount of height. But as we go through this historical mark of the superhighway, it's such an honor to be able to talk, because see, when the highway came through here and they started developing this after World War II in 1945, a lot of these homes that you see back here where 45 go is, a lot of those homes was occupied by black people. And those blacks had to move out of those areas because the state was coming through with 45. Now, and 45 did not go to Galveston. 45 only went from, it did not go to Dallas. They built 45 first just to go south. Not to go north, but to go south. And later on, they start tacking on, I would say about 30 years later, they start tacking on I wouldn't even say 30, I'd say 25 years later, they start adding on 45 and bringing it into 45 North, which that way it goes out towards Dallas. But it's such an honor to be here. And as we look at here, and when you came or you went to Galveston on the superhighway, you get on right here at Jefferson and Darling. And when you came back from the superhighway, you would be over there on Pease and Darling. But now, as we talk about the superhighway in 1952, and when they built it, everybody knew that it was going to be built out that way. So like I told you, that was the outskirts of Houston. That's why in 1956, Mr. Joe Weingarten, along with Mr. Sackwitz, along with Mr. Joskis, along with Mr. W.T. Grant, they all decided to build a super shopping center, which was called Gulfgate. That's why Gulfgate is on the outskirts. Just like, as you can see in the back of me, Hobby Airport, where it is on the other side of 610. Remember, on the other side of 610 was part of Harris County, but it wasn't part of Houston. It was called South Houston, where they had their own police force. And you had to be careful, when you, especially if you're black. Really be careful out there, because when you leave South Houston, now you're going to the Ku Klux Klan house, and that's Pasadena. And it don't get no better, because now you're going out there towards Deer Park. Now you're finna get stuck, because now you're going out there towards LaPorte. But as 45 we know today, and later on they call it Gulf Freeway. Why it was called Gulf Freeway? Because it went straight from 3rd Ward, which was Houston, and went straight out to the Gulf of Mexico. That's why it was called Gulf Freeway. And then later on, after they started building other freeways such as 59 first, and then Interstate 10 last, that's why it became a freeway, and it became I-45 freeway. And that's the name of it today, I-45 South, going to Galveston. And I don't know why I-45 North. It really started downtown on Lamar, on the outskirts of downtown, when they started building I-45 North. But I-45 South was here first. And it was here in 1952 when they opened it up. And like I said, a lot of blacks that used to live up in here had to move and relocated. Where they relocated on the other side of I-45. That's why blacks was moving in. See, because on this side of 45, which was Darling now, and all this was wood now before the freeway came through. All this on this side belongs to the white people. Just like they would have railroad tracks to separate the white from the blacks. Well, here on Darling, on this side, was whites. But like in the late 40s and early 50s, blacks started moving on over this side. And blacks become to be part of this area over here on the other side of Darling. That's why they gave blacks that white school that they call Dunbar. Because see, when it all started out, it wasn't but really 3 black schools: Luckett, Blackshear, and Douglas. And they gave them Dotson because blacks would start moving over there on the other side. When they finished 45, they started moving over there off of Scott and Leland. But right now, we're at a historical spot of emancipation and Jefferson. But in 1952, this was not named Jefferson, it was called Darling. And this is where it all started for the first freeway in the state of Texas, right here in 3rd Ward. And it was called the Gulf Freeway. The first original name we call it was the Superhighway, but it had to have a name to identify with it. So therefore, it was called the Gulf Freeway. Reason why? Because it ran into the Gulf. All right, Facebook family. Now, this is Pease. See, like I said, when you're going to Galveston, the way to go from the Superhighway which later became the Gulf Freeway, you would enter on Jefferson. But when you're coming back on a street called Pease, and it's gonna let you off in 3rd Ward. It ain't gonna let you off. It's gonna, when you get off that freeway, it's gonna let you off in 3rd Ward on Dowling and Pease. And Pease gonna take you all the way on through downtown. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go see all of this here was blacks had all this area here, but in 1945, after World War II, they started working on the freeways, on the first super freeway, which was a super highway, which was the Gulf Freeway. And all the blacks had to start moving out, because by 1948, construction was already underway. And in 1952, they finished the first section of it, and that's where we finna go now. But now, as you can see, we're going down, coming from downtown is Jefferson. Now, and I will show you, before we get on the freeway, we're gonna show you about the Pierce elevator. That's the Pierce elevator you see up there. Reason why it was the Pierce elevator, because the street was called Pierce, and they elevated the street up high. But then when they got to St. Joseph, they renamed the street St. Joseph Parkway, and that's where we finna go now. And we'll show you what it's renamed St. Joseph Parkway. And St. Joseph was the first hospital in Houston, and also was the first medical center here in Houston. And as we go right up here, which was Pierce, but now, like I say, it's called St. Joseph Parkway, because they lead you straight into St. Joseph all the way through downtown. All right, now we're going to turn here on St. Joseph Parkway. Remember, the street was Pierce now, but when they got up there by St. Joseph, the name changed to St. Joseph Parkway. But the original name, when it left from downtown Houston for people to get on the superhighway, it was called Pierce. And in 1967, after they elevated Pierce up high, so it could be a place where you can go straight from downtown, straight on into 45 without going through the lights. Okay, we're going down St. Joseph Parkway. Okay, we're finna get on Jefferson, because we're finna get on the superhighway. Welcome, Facebook family. Welcome to Boo Lee Production, and welcome to Superhighway. We ain't got no music, because this is a historical video that we doing. Like I said, we done did everything from the neighborhoods. Now we off into the freeways, and this is the first freeway, and it wasn't called a freeway, it was called a superhighway. And later on it became Gulf Freeway, and later on it became I-45. And this is the way, when you coming from downtown, and they first built this, Van London built this freeway in 1952, which was the first freeway in the whole state of Texas. But during them days, they weren't calling them freeways, they were calling them superhighways. And like I said, the superhighway is gonna take you straight on through. It ain't gonna have you messing with no lights. See, this is the reason why they built the Pierce elevator, so people wouldn't have to mess with the lights. They could go straight from 45, straight on into 45 South, leaving 45 North, which was downtown. And we are finna get onto the superhighway in 1952 when they built this. And some of the people like Miss Deborah Molo, who lived in 3rd Ward, and the freeway started in 3rd Ward and went over 3rd Ward. She was there and remember the freeway when John Fitzgerald Kennedy came here. He had to travel this way. His motorcade had to travel this way to get to Hobby Airport. This was the only way you could get to Hobby Airport, is on the Gulf Freeway. Welcome everybody to the Gulf Freeway. Welcome everybody to the superhighway, should I say. And we're going down here, and like I said, we only have 3 interstate highways. And this was the first one, 45. 59, which is I-69. It was the second one, and I-10, which we know as Katy Freeway, was the last one. And those are the three interstate freeways that we have in Houston. Interstate 45, north and south. Interstate 59, north and south. And I-10, east and west. All right. This is the superhighway, y'all. Welcome everybody to the superhighway. Now it's called I-45 South. And as we cross over the 3rd Ward going past University of Houston, and see they had the freeway here. See this is some construction they did because after all, University of Houston needed their own exit. That's why they're still working on 45, y'all. It's been almost 70 years and they still working on it. But it is what it is, y'all. 72 years and they still working on it. Okay, this is I-45 and this is the superhighway. All this used to be a superhighway, y'all. We driving down the superhighway in 1952 when they first built this Mr. Van London built this. And as you can see, this is the superhighway. Oh boy, we couldn't wait to get in the car to drive. Mama, take me down the superhighway. Man, that was a weekend trip to get on the superhighway, man. You don't have to stop. That was during the 50s, that was unheard of. Driving in the car and didn't have to stop. No red lights. Oh man, that was history, y'all. For some of you young people, y'all don't know. We didn't always have red lights. I mean, the straight freeways like you got today. We had red lights. You had to stop. Maybe that's why these young people run the lights today. They feel like they're still on the freeway. They don't have to stop. But this is part of the superhighway, y'all. It went from 3rd Ward. It really went from 3rd Ward to 2nd Ward. See, over here is 2nd Ward. You on Telephone Road? All this 2nd Ward, y'all. And it's part of Harrisburg. And I told you Harrisburg, Texas was here before Harrisburg. That's the reason why you have all these Hispanics people that lives up in 2nd Ward. Because Harrisburg, Texas was part of Mexico before Texas got its independence from Mexico, y'all. Just a little history, y'all. And here we go, superhighway. We couldn't wait. Get on the superhighway, boys. You could go to Gulfgate, baby. After Gulfgate, you had to make a U-turn and come back to superhighway and come down Pease. But here we go. See up there where you see 225? Remember I told you in 1952 they had to stop to help build Highway 225. And here we go. In fact, the last exit for the superhighway, y'all, was Woodridge. That's why we always would say, take me to Gulfgate. That means if you're going to Gulfgate, you're finna get on the superhighway. Because that's where the superhighway would stop, there at Woodridge. Remember, because on the other side of Woodridge, you're going to see that's what 610 is. And on the other side of 610 was South Houston. And on the other side of 610, that's why they built the airport. Just like when they built Intercontinental Airport, it was outside the city. Because they didn't want the airplanes flying over the city. At least landing in the city anyway. They put it on the outskirts. But like I say, this was Woodridge. And this would be the cutoff line. And you would have to cut off on Woodridge to go to 225. And what we're going to do, Facebook family, we're going to go down 225 to show you. We're not going to go that far down 225. No, we don't want to go down to Pasadena. I don't want to get that far. All righty. And then you also got Highway 35. People say, what is Highway 35? That's Telephone Road. Telephone Road is Highway 35. That means that's the highway that takes you into Freeport, Angleton, Clute, Lake Jackson. That's the freeway when they built 288 to take some of the load off of Highway 35. And Pearland, see there, remember 288? All right, here we go. We headed on out towards 225. This is where we're supposed to be going. See what that sign say? Pasadena. Facebook family, hey man. We rode through the communities, now we riding on the freeway. And we getting on the freeway before these fools get on the freeway, because at night, boy, this ain't no place to be. Trust me. But everybody drive with their lights on bright. They blind you. They don't want you to see. They the only one want to see. It's a selfish world, Facebook family. But ain't no sense of me telling you, you know it. Okay, here we go. Straight into 225. Now this will lead us right on into 225, and 225 will take us right on into LaPorte, which it would dead end in LaPorte, which is San Jacinto Battleground, but it also covers Pasadena and Deer Park. Now over here, now this is going towards Pasadena and LaPorte. See, before they built 610, this used to be a little road that dead end at 45. And you take that road all the way on up here, and then you get on 225. And here we go. See, that's what it's, when that explosion happened the other day, it happened right up here. But right now, we're not gonna go to Pasadena, y'all. No, we're gonna, but this part of 225, that'll lead you back towards downtown Houston. All right, and this is part of Harrisburg, y'all. Welcome, everybody. We're live. And as you can see, there's the Ship Channel Bridge. And we're going all the way down here because this, I'm showing you this here, because this is the other side that they added on to 225 later. Which this is 225, looked like going west, which was Broadway, Lawndale. Remember I say all the Hispanic, all of this is part of Harrisburg. Used to be part of Harrisburg, Texas, y'all. Houston annexed it in 1926. Alrighty. And as you can see, we're live. Welcome everybody. And this street up here should be should be Broadway. See, Broadway turns into Harrisburg when you go the other way going toward downtown Houston. And then Harrisburg turns into Texas Avenue. Alrighty, everybody, welcome. Okay, welcome to Harrisburg, Texas, y'all. You say, what is in Harrisburg, Texas? Okay, for some of y'all people that don't know about Harrisburg, Texas, Milby High School would be located in Harrisburg, Texas. Alrighty, everybody. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. All right, we're making the reason why we're making this U-turn, y'all, because this is where old Galveston Road used to be. Before they built 45 and you wanted to go to Galveston, this is where you would have to go. And they call it Old Galveston Road because this old road used to lead right into Galveston, y'all. And as you can see, we're in Harrisburg, Texas, and right over there is Milby High School. In case you want to know what's going on, what's what, This is an area, y'all, we hadn't been in a good little while, but we're going in it today. Okay, welcome to Old Galveston Road, y'all. And there's a sign that say Harrisburg. Remember I told you this used to be Harrisburg, Texas. Okay, and this is the way you used to go to Galveston before they built 45. That's why they call it Old Galveston Road. They don't call it Old Galveston, they just call it Galveston Road, y'all. So I threw the old in there because it got old, because when they built 45, nobody came down this way no more. Unless they lived down here, y'all. Yeah, this is the way you used to go to Galveston back in the day. And remember I used to tell you about the drawbridge? Well, then you keep on down this old road back in the day. It leads you right into Galveston. And this is the way they used to go to Galveston before they built 45, the Gulf Freeway. All right, everybody. Now see, up here used to be the East YMCA. They had three YMCAs here. This is the East YMCA, and in Third Ward we had our YMCA. This YMCA here used to be for Hispanic. That's why it was called East YMCA. The YMCA in Third Ward was called South Central YMCA. And the main YMCA, which was the Central YMCA, was Downtown YMCA. A little history there for you again, y'all. And as you can see, this going towards Galveston. This is 610. Remember, right now, is everything we see now was part of the original Houston. And as we get up here, it's gonna get up on 610, y'all. This is 610 West. Remember I say everything inside Loop 610 was part of Houston. That's why when Weingarten and Mr. Sackwitz and Mr. Weingarten and Mr. Josky and Mr. W.T. Grant, when they came out here and built this shopping center, it was on the outskirts of Houston and it was called Gulfgate. And that's what you see right now. That's Gulfgate. Welcome everybody. We hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed it. We're gonna exit off of Woodridge. Remember I told you superhighway was dead end at Woodridge. What's that Woodridge? Gulfgate. And Gulfgate was the second mall. The first one was Palm Center. It was in 1955. Then Gulfgate and the Weingarten, the Jewish people, opened this one up for everybody. The one out there in Palm Center, they mainly built it for the white people that were living in South Park. But when Mr. Weingarten and Mr. Levitt, Mr. Weingarten and Mr. Joskis and Mr. Sackwitz, when they came and built this Gulfgate shopping center, it was for everybody. All right.